Mike's Bags. Today I'm reviewing the Clash by NFQ Bags. Let's go and dive in, break these bags down. As always, we'll start with materials. Slow side. This is a hybrid material. This is the same material you find on the slow side of the Brotherhood Guardian, the True Cornhole Trimmer, the Southwest LTD, the Killshots Wolverine. There's a whole list of bags that use it. It's a very popular material. It plays a 5-speed in my opinion. Brand new, a little quicker, 5.5, maybe 6. Once you start to break it in, it softens up. It kind of fuzzes up a little bit. Gets down to about a 5. Very consistent in across board conditions. So if you live in an area where conditions change, maybe you deal with humidity a little bit, or you play in tournaments that get started to play all day or go from the afternoon to the evening, and you can get different board conditions, different weather conditions. The material is wonderful, and it stays fairly consistent about that 5-speed through most board conditions. So you don't keep changing up bags or changing the throw as conditions change. It's very hole friendly, but you still have a ton of control with it. It's a wonderful material, very popular for good reason, because it just plays extremely well on board. So 5-speed on the slow side. Fast side, this is a material that I don't see a lot, but it's a material I really like. It's the same material you find on the fast side of the Logic Element. It's the fast side of the B3 Prime, slow side of the Mach 2 and the B3 Mach 2 and Mach 2.5. It's the same slow side Cat. Cornhole Scenario used to use on their Cat, slow side of the Cat 2. I don't know if they still use it on the new Cat 2s or not, but that's what it was on the older version of the Cat 2s. It's a wonderful material. As I mentioned, I call it a 7-speed. I think NFQ calls it an 8. Some other companies call it an 8. It's a faster 7, slower 8. It kind of maybe 7.5 would be a better rating, but it kind of falls between a 7 and 8 speed range. It's fast. It still has a ton of control. You know, you can push through and collect your blockers, but it's also a material that you can flip over and just go fast side and not really be fearful of the bag being out of control and flying off the back. You still have control with it. So when boards start to get a little slower, or maybe you just want to make sure you get your 4th bag in, you can flip it over on the fast side and throw that and still have confidence and not be, again, fearful of that bag just getting out of control on you. So we got a 5, I say 7, maybe 7.5 speed on these Clashes here. The template wise, it's a medium template bag, but it's on the fuller side. So there's a little bit more than a medium fill. It's kind of a fuller amount of fill here. So it gives the bag a little bit fuller, almost a smaller feeling on the template size there. You have some flop. This is not overly floppy at all. So if you like a fuller bag, I think you'll love the way these feel. One thing I didn't mention as well is there is a liner in the inside of the slow side, and it's a pretty slick line. It's what I would call a performance liner. So the liner, a couple things. One thing it's going to do is it's going to help this bag kind of hold its shape. These materials, especially the slow side, really wants to stretch. And if you don't have a liner or something there, it'll stretch, gets really loose, it kind of loses its shape. By putting that liner there, it really keeps it structurally together, so it holds that shape, so it keeps that fuller feeling for a lot longer. It doesn't get that loose, sloppy feeling. The other thing it does is because it's a super slick material, as I mentioned, like a performance liner, it aids in the hole friendliness. So when bags get up there near the board, it allows that fill to continue to move. It reduces the friction of the fill, where if you didn't have that fill will get caught in the inside of this hybrid material and just get hung up. With that slick material, it just continues to move and allows that bag to drip and kind of cascade right in the hole and gives you just a little bit extra, just a little slightly extra hole friendliness. I love the way the bag plays that liner in there. The fill in here is a mixed fill. I love what NFQ did in the fill. There's some disc in here, some round, maybe some other types of fill as well. I love the fill. It gives the bag just enough movement so you can shot shape cuts, rolls, flops. There's enough beads in here that it really aids in that hole friendliness, kind of gives you that drippy feeling. Even for a fuller bag, it tends to play a little drippier. A lot of times full bags want to hang on the hole more. They don't drip as much. This kind of has that drippiness to it, and I think some of it has to do with the beads they put in the fill. But you have enough of that flat disc so that when you throw the bag, it gives you some forgiveness. It's not overly aggressive, overly bouncy. It's not going to punish you really bad with a harsh, aggressive kick. It will have a little bit of kick to it, so if you don't throw perfectly flat, you have a tilt or an angle on your bag, you're going to get some kick. Again, not super aggressive. You can adjust your landing spot and play it, but that kick means the bag is cuttable, and this is a very cuttable bag. I'll get more in that playability, but shot shaping is there for sure with these Clash bags. These bags are also ACO stamped. So I've reviewed NFQ bags in the past, but when I reviewed them previously, they were not. They were a non-stamp bag. Since the last time I reviewed them, they have received their ACO stamp for most, if not all, of their bags. So the Clash is an ACO stamp bag. Let's go ahead and dive in and talk more about playability. And as I mentioned, this bag is a very versatile bag. If you want to get up there and just run bags in the hole, you can do it. Again, this material is very hole friendly. Both materials are very hole friendly. So you want to get up there and just put your 4 bags in, you can do it. The bag does a great job around the hole. Even if you leave bags hanging at the hole because they're fuller, very easy to collect. You don't have to get super aggressive. You just come down and clip it in the next bag. It's going to fall in. As I mentioned, shot shaping, you have the ability to come across and grab it if you need to, throw a cut, clip it, and pull it back in. So if you want to run bags in the hole, you can do that. Where I think this bag kind of stands out more for me is in the dirty style game. And not necessarily you playing the dirty style game, but if you're playing against someone who does. So if you want to play it, you have the ability of this material to throw blockers. You've got control, put blockers wherever you want on the board, wherever you need to, and then you have the option, like I said, with shot shaping, cuts, rolls, flops to get around your bag. This Clash is a great bag for those of you who are starting out trying to learn to shot shape, right? I think it's a good bag. But even if you're average or advanced in skill set, you can still manipulate this bag and have a lot of fun with it. I was able to throw some really nice aggressive cuts with it, get around bags. So if I have an opponent who's playing a dirty style game and they're putting blockers in my way and I want to get around their bags, leave their bags there, cuts, rolls, flops, you have an option to do it. And you've got enough speed on the fast side. If you want to flip it over, go fast side and push through, you can do that as well. But as I say all the time, I love it when I love to leave my opponent's blockers up there. If they're throwing blockers and putting bags in my way, I like to leave them and make them go after them because that just gives them a chance to make a mistake. Maybe they try to get a little too aggressive and put a blocker too far over and make sure go to collect it. They end up missing and leaving 2 bags off. And if I get my 4 bags in, I walk away 4 points in that round. So anytime I can make my opponent have to work a little harder or be a little more aggressive, there's an opportunity for that miss that they get and I can score points. And so I love a bag like this that gives me those options to get around their blockers no matter where they put them, to get around them, put my bags in the hole, leave their bags there. But as I mentioned, even if I'm putting blockers up there, I can get aggressive and put my blocker more on their side, knowing that I can throw that, come across that cut, grab it, pull it back in. Collecting these bags, like I mentioned, because they're a fuller bag, they collect really easily. They don't accordion up or smash up, so you can come down and just clip a corner. It'll hook it, grab it, and take that bag in. If you throw like a level 3 blocker, enough speed on the fast side, you can catch it and ride that bag all the way up. So it's definitely a great bag for playing a dirty style game. It's a great bag for playing against a dirty style game. It's a solid bag for running bags in the hole. It really gives you a lot of options, a lot of different play styles. It's a great hybrid style bag, I would say, as far as the different play styles of how you want to play round to round, game to game. You can really manipulate that. One thing I'll mention is NFQ does also offer this Clash in an L version, which is just a slightly looser, little thinner, not quite as full. So if you don't like a fuller bag, maybe you want a bag a little more forgiving, that L version is going to be the one for you. I'll have that coming out here in about a week or so. Depending on when you watch this, it may already be out. If not, if you're watching it when I just upload it, give it about a week or so, and that Clash L should be out. For comparison-wise, if those of you who play in the ACL, this bag reminds me so much of that Logic element I reviewed not too long ago. It's the same materials, a very similar feel, a very similar fullness to it. So if you like that Logic element, you're going to love these NFQ Clashes. They're fun bags to throw. I had a blast on them because I put a lot of bags in the hole here. They do even better in competition. The open boards, they do great. They show well, but in competition, like the ability to manipulate the bag is where it really stands out. Like, so I love it when the bags get dirty and congested, and then I can just put my bag around or over and in the hole and leave my opponent wondering how they're going to get their next bag in. So definitely recommend checking these Clashes out. That leads me into availability. NFQ, they do their business on their Facebook page, as well as I'll put their email address down in the description. So for those of you who don't have Facebook, if you have Facebook, I'll put a link to their Facebook page. You can click there, shoot them a message when order is set. If you don't have Facebook, I'll put their email address. Just send them an email. Tell them what you're looking for, and they can get you taken care of that way. The bags were $60 shipped to you. That's a phenomenal price. One of the cheapest prices you're going to find for a set of bags. $60 shipped, well worth it. If you've been thinking about trying out this hybrid material, or maybe you haven't thrown this fast side material and you're curious about it, at $60, it's worth the risk. You're not investing a lot. I think you're going to love them, but even if you don't, again, it's not a big loss. Definitely check them out. If you've thrown the Clashes, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about these bags. As always, I thank you so much for your support, and I thank you for watching.